There stands a church in metropolitan Detroit that was planted 65 years ago. With God's vision, she has stood as a light to this city, year after year. On a wall in this church, there hangs names of men and women whose lives were poured into their community, who wanted to see God glorified in the lives of others around them. We've stood on the shoulders of these men who had a clear vision of God's plan and a mind to work. The church grew with their passion. They laid the groundwork for future generations of churches. But over time it seemed that the need outweighed those who were willing to meet it. In an area with over 4 million people and only 4 ABA churches, the need today is simply overwhelming. And that's just one city. Often you hear people share stories and memories from the past of how great our churches used to be. But we seldom speak of the vision for what God wants them to be in the future. The Great Lakes region of the North needs more churches. Every day I walk outside the church doors into my community, I ask myself, what is God's vision for my city? As churches, we talk about the Great Commission, and so often we speak about the gospel going to the uttermost part of the earth. Other times we emphasize the place where it started in Jerusalem. Yet it's so easy to overlook the place in between. We hastily skip over the part about Judea and Samaria sometimes just to get to the uttermost. But it's just as much as Jesus told them to be witnesses in Jerusalem and go all the way to the uttermost. There were supposed to be witnesses in all of Judea and Samaria as well. I think the same is true for us today. In order for God's plan to be fulfilled in this region, I think some things are going to have to change. Certainly the burden of our local churches must continue to stay focused on their own Jerusalem. Certainly we need to continue to carry our burden to the uttermost part of the earth, but we can't forget what's in between. A renewed passion, a vision, even a focus is needed for the Great Lakes region here in the north. See, being a witness doesn't change when we cross a city or a state line. The Great Commission is a big plan. It's been said that if the Great Commission is true, then our plans aren't too big, they're too small. Sometimes we underestimate the plan of God for our lives and for the rest of the world. Our plans are often too small for such an amazing, awesome God, but we must remember that He has everybody in mind. He sees the big picture. Sometimes I think we need to trade our small plans and ambitions for a giant portion of faith in a great God with a mighty plan. As individuals of local churches, we can have a chance to be a part of something bigger than us. Eyes on the North is a group of disciples from various ABA churches trying to do just that. We're in the northern United States, and it's an effort to raise awareness about the great need for these 5 states. Really, for the landscape of the North to change, it's got to start with us. We've got to look around at our mission fields. It's right here in our backyards, in our neighborhoods, in our city park. We as God's children have to live the difference in our lives. So we hope that EON reveals the great need we have in the North, as well as the desire of our local churches to do something about it. Really, it comes down to people everywhere, all around us, that need Jesus. I wonder if God's calling you to make a difference. Maybe He's calling your church to send a man to a city here that needs Jesus. Maybe He's calling your church to support a man. Maybe He's calling you to come and be that man. Whatever the call is, though, it must start today. It starts right where you are, where we are. Come join us in this effort, where we have churches lifting one another up, crying out to God for His vision. That's what EON's all about. So do you have a vision for your city, your region? God does. Keep your eyes on the north.